Alright battlers, welcome back to a brand new Rose Cup video. We are taking a look at the mighty Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl is a tough Pokemon to master, but if you can get a handle on it, it is a great Pokemon with excellent coverage. We are going up against Shiny Hunter Ben, my good friend. These are awesome battles. We played at least 15 or 16 matches, and these are the best ones. I really hope you enjoy it. Leave a like for Shiny Hunter Ben, and if you wanted to see some Aerodactyl footage, here we go. Leave a like for that as well, please. Going to this game, we have our Clefable facing off against the opposing Steelix. So I did make a late switch there to try to penalize my opponent for any kind of hesitation, trying to get a couple of charms in on Machamp, but now that we're locked into the Steelix, we are in big trouble. I really wish I had a coverage move on Clefable that could help against the tanks, but with Psychic, Dazzling Gleam, and Meteor Mash, you are kind of stuck. So here comes Charizard. We're actually going to farm down the rest of that Steelix, so we have a ton of energy packed and ready to go. Here comes the Machamp, and we lose the CMP tie. I'm actually going to let Charizard fall here and come in with my Aerodactyl. So Aerodactyl, although it's a flying type, I actually used it the wrong way in this match. I tried to use it to beat up on Machamp. And while that Rock Throw is really eating away at that Haunter, it is not good for beating the fighting types. So we are going to reset and try to do better in game 2. I promise this Aerodactyl hype is so real. Here comes Aerodactyl against Charizard, and look at that, trainers. We bloody it with that Rock Throw. Charizard does not stand a chance against the Rock Dragon Aerodactyl. We decided to bring in our Clefable here against the Medicham. Whatever Medicham dishes out, I know we can tank. Dynamic Punch, Psychic, Ice Punch, doesn't matter. Clefable is such a beast, and its number one mission is to kill the fighting types, and that's exactly what it did for us there. So I do have a little bit of energy ready. Here comes Haunter. I'm actually going to fire off the Psychic here, which is excellent for us. This way we get to get a shield from our opponent, because that Psychic would absolutely KO such a glassy Pokemon like Haunter. I bring in my Aerodactyl, and we go straight for the Rock Slide here. Trainers, you're going to see I really use the Rock Throw a lot, and I don't throw a lot of charge moves with Aerodactyl. The Rock Throw is almost like a Razor Leaf in a way. It does so much damage. It's so devastating. Sometimes the charge move is just icing on the cake. Here comes Charizard, and one Rock Throw is going to make that Charizard vanish. Voila. Going to the next game, here is Aerodactyl versus Steelix. That Thunder Fang is going to add up really quickly. Ben has a very spicy moveset on his Steelix there. In comes Charizard, and this is one of the reasons I love Machamp in this cup. With a little bit of an energy lead, you can threaten all of the flyers with that Rock Slide. Yes, Medicham does have the Ice Punch, but the Machamp Rock Slide is so devastating, especially to something like Charizard. We do bring it down with that second Rock Slide. We are one shield all. I have 3 pokes. My opponent has 2. Ben's going to send in his Sableye here. We're actually unable to get to a Rock Slide, so I settled for the Cross Chop. This will do a little bit of chip damage, but it does get shielded, which is even better for us. In comes Clefable, charming down that Sableye, and then I bring in my Aerodactyl. This is a great showcase of Aerodactyl's coverage, trainers. We're going to drop this Earth Power on the tank Steelix and watch this wall just explode into nothingness. Steelix is nothing against the Earth Power, and neither is Probopass. Aerodactyl actually has a crazy stat about it. Ben brought this to my attention. I just want to give Ben a lot of credit for letting me know that Aerodactyl is such an incredible Pokemon to use. He actually asked me if I was using it. I think I made a post on Twitter about spicy picks, and he messaged me and says, have you tried Aerodactyl? And Aerodactyl actually is the Kingdra of the Rose Cup, trainers. It wins 120 matchups with a 1 shield advantage, something like that. It's just insane. With 1 shield, Aerodactyl can close out the vast majority of the meta. It's a great Pokemon and a great closer. I know I'm using it a lot here as an opener, but it just shows you it's great all around. Our Machamp is going to drop the Rock Slide on the Haunter there, and here comes Sableye versus Charizard. I did add Power Gem to my Sableye, trainers. Thank you so much for your comments. I am loving Power Gem Sableye in this cup. It's actually extremely useful against things like Charizard. Actually, here we're going to take that Dragon Claw and then work up to the Foul Play, but we lose the CMP tie. So Charizard is going to bring us down, but no worries at all. I do have a very healthy Aerodactyl, and 2 Rock Throws take down Charizard. So OP. Here comes Haunter, and these Rock Throws are going to chip down at this very glassy ghost Pokemon. We take that win as well. Going into the next game against Ben, I lead my Clefable into Haunter. This is not an excellent situation for us, so I swap into Aerodactyl. And again, trainers, Aerodactyl does not excel as a fighting type counter. I'm going to drop this Rock Slide on Machamp, and it does get shielded, and that's great. But look at this, Machamp just farms up our Aerodactyl. Even though it's a flying type, it is part ground, and it just doesn't have the same resistance that something like a Skarmory or even a Charizard or a Golbat would have. He's going to drop a double Rock Slide on Clefable. I do decide to shield one just to keep Clefable happy and healthy. In comes Haunter, trying to push for that Psychic, but we're not going to get there, trainers. That's okay, though. I let my Clefable fall, and I decide to bring in my Sableye. Sableye with one shield going up against Charizard, and check this out, trainers. We go straight for the Power Gem. Is this money? Boom, money in the bank. Ben was expecting the bluff, and we called it. Here we go with the next game. We lead Machamp into Machamp. So we've seen this mirror match one time before. I love this mirror match, trainers, because all you need to do is land one cross chop and then shield. It's very, very simple, very straightforward. You definitely want a good attack set on your Machamp so that you can win the CMP tie. But as you can tell there, we gave up a shield, trainers. We have a ton of energy ready, and Machamp's moveset is so favorable for this cup. You have the Rock Slide that you can drop on the Haunter or the Charizard, which would basically one-hit KO both of them nearly. So we do earn that shield back. Right as we're at that shield deficit, we are now tied. So the Shadow Ball does land on Aerodactyl, devastating my Pokemon. Aerodactyl is still glassy, trainers, and you have to be very, very careful. That was a big, costly mistake, and we actually get hit by another Shadow Ball. This Haunter is just balling out, going crazy on our team. In comes Charizard, and we only have a little bit of health, so Skuntank is going to fall. GG's, Ben. Going into the next round, we lead Clefable into Steelix. This is not a good look for us at all. We double swap into Machamp, but I think I snuck in one extra counter, so I do have a little bit of an energy lead. He's going to shield that cross chop, and you know what, trainers? I'm going to buck up as well. We are just going to match shields. So I'm going to fire off another cross chop here against my opponent, trying to get the excellent with the fighting animation. Sometimes I spin slow, sometimes fast. Really depends on how nervous I am, I guess. Haunter's going to come in here and fire off the Shadow Punch. No big deal. Spend your energy on Machamp. That's great for me. I do bring in my Clefable here because I don't want Clefable to line up with the Steelix. So I'm going to take this attack, whatever it is. Shield this attack, whatever it is. It was the Shadow Punch. In comes Steelix, and here comes Aerodactyl. Can we get to the Earth Power, trainers? No, we can't. Steelix is going to drop this crunch on us, and we barely hang on for the Rock Slide. Because I got enough energy together, my opponent thinks it might be Earth Power, so he does shield. So in this situation, again, a Grand Bull would have been excellent. Trainers, send me your good PvP IV Snubble luck. I need it so bad because the close combat would have nuked this Steelix, and then the Charm would have wrapped this up for us. But either way, Clefable's a great Pokemon as well. Going to the next round, I lead my Aerodactyl into Haunter. So these rock throws are going to do serious work. Ben swaps out into Steelix. Here comes Machamp, and things are going exactly to plan. I know Thunderfang charges up very slowly, so I don't have to be very concerned about an Earthquake. My opponent does decide to shield, which in this scenario, I think this might be an Earthquake, because why would you invest a shield if you weren't going to drop a big Earthquake like that? But it was just the crunch. So we are going to fire off another cross chop here, taking down the Steelix, and we do have some extra energy. We're able to get to a Rock Slide. Energy management with your Machamp after you bring down a tank is going to be very important in this cup, trainers. Definitely give that some practice reps and try to get good with that. I am trying all the time to get better. Expecting a Shadow Ball, I do decide to shield. In comes Charizard, and again, Sableye with the coverage, man. Sableye is the king of the ghosts, and it smacks Charizard as well with the Power Gem. Such a great Pokemon to use. It's been banned in so many cups, and we know why, trainers. It's just too darn good. Here we go with Haunter shadow balling our Aerodactyl again, and we encounter incredible amounts of lag. As you can tell, trainers, 2 more Shadow Claws from us would have brought down Haunter, but we are just practicing. Ben's going to take that one, and we're going to try to not have lag in the next one. Here we go, Clefable against Medicham. This is a great situation for us. In comes Charizard. You know what's about to happen, trainers. Aerodactyl is just going to bloody the this Charizard. We are going to shield here because nothing, I don't want to say nothing, but most things cannot take a blast burn. It is just so insanely hurtful to pretty much anything in the meta. We're going to drop a Rock Slide here on this Medicham, and although we aren't countering it very well, the Rock Throw is adding up. That Medicham actually doesn't have that much of an attack stat, not like Machamp does. It is much bulkier, much thicker, but we were able to survive a few more counters. Here we go with our Skuntank against Steelix, and normally, trainers, this would be a so-so situation, but because we only have one shield and my opponent has two, this is not good for us. This Steelix is probably going to drop something like an Earthquake on us, so we do decide to shield. It is the Crunch, though, so that gives us a little bit more fight, but still, we are in bad shape. I do go for the Crunch here because it is slightly more energy efficient, and then I try to get to a Flamethrower, but the Steelix is just too quick. Thunderfang is going to get to the Crunch, and then here comes the Medicham. We're going to Charm down Medicham, but again, we have no answer for Steelix here. I fire off the Psychic to try to preserve my honor, but we know how this goes. This is basically GG's, trainers. Trainers, if you enjoying this music, leave a like. This is a really fun song. I'm really enjoying it a lot. Machamp's going to encounter Haunter here. I swap quickly into Sableye. Sableye is a great safe swap against Ben's team. He does have double counter users, but no Charmer. So the Sableye is going to come in here and do a ton of damage to the Steelix. Such a little guy, but he is putting the hurt on the giant Steel Boy. And he's going to shield that foul play there, which is no big deal to us. Crunch our Sableye, which we survive, but we're unable to get to another foul play. So we come in here with Machamp and we farm down the rest of the Steelix. Expecting a Crunch here, I am not going to shield. Crunch is resisted, not a huge deal. Machamp's got a boatload of energy and we have two shields, trainers. I'm going to fire off a Cross Chop here against the Machamp. I almost dropped the Rock Slide, as you can tell by the position of my thumb, but I wanted to make sure I dropped the right move. I actually QSA there and failed to pull the trigger on the Rock Slide, kind of over tapping, I assume. A lot of the switching going on there kind of gave me the willy, so froze up a bit. We're going to take that Shadow Punch from Haunter, and this is a very close match, trainers, but we are not able to Rock Throw down the Machamp. Still, such a great Pokemon, and still can beat Aerodactyl in a lot of situations. Here we go with our Skuntank versus Steelix. I'm going to try to drop a Flamethrower on this Steelix, hoping he would think it was a bluff, and we get it. That's great for us. It's a great start, but this match is still anybody's game. Ben is a great trainer, and I had so much fun battling against Ben. Follow him on Twitter, Shiny Hunter Ben. Ben Stram is his name. I will leave a link to his Twitter in the description down below. Great trainer, great guy. Here we go with our Machamp facing off against Aerodactyl, and again, I made that critical mistake, trainers, of not bringing a fighting type counter in this line, instead bringing in Aerodactyl, and I'm just going to get double Rock Slided or double Cross Chopped, and this is not good for me. Unable to drop the Rock Slide there. I do have my Sableye I'm going to bring out here, but again, this is a bad situation for us. Trainers, I have noticed a little bit of lag when you're doing your charge move. I think Niantic is still working on how to calculate who gets CMP, and that is the reason for the lag. Hopefully they smooth that out quickly, because as battlers we are obsessed with the cleanest gameplay, as I'm sure you know. Skuntank comes in here with not very much HP. One more Shadow Punch is going to win Ben this game, and that is GG's. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more Aerodactyl footage, let me know. Hop on pvpoke.com and look at the simulations. Aerodactyl is a monster late in the game, and I love it to beat Charizard as well. Please leave me a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.